JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind, retells a classic story from our youth that we all have heard, no doubt. Once upon a time, an Italian boy with a magic gold person joins and subsequently works his way up the ranks of the entire Italian Mafia in order to kill the head and repurpose the gang to be a beneficial one, rather than a murdering, drug-slinging one. But you see, as a proud, red-blooded, gun-shooting American, I believe that hard work and dedication can get you anything, and that you need to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps if you want something to get done. So we're about to give Giorno a first-class lesson in that, as we take away his stand and see if you can beat GioGio's Bizarre Adventure without stands. The rules are simple. No stand attacks. This includes summoning them and stand shooting, but also some of the other face buttons, like Giorno's X attack or Bruno's triangle move. Basically, if it's impossible for a human to do it by themselves, we probably can't do it. This challenge run was attempted on hard mode, and while I can lower the difficulty, I don't want to because I want to make this as interesting as possible. Anyways, enough dawdling. It's time to destroy crime itself. 1-1 Bucciarati attacks. The first mission in this game immediately fails the run, because tutorial nonsense. But if we ignore that, then we can immediately begin learning how this new way of life is going to treat us. For one thing, the player's range is greatly disadvantaged, and we can't block, since instead of a dedicated block button, if your stand is out, it blocks for you, which I can't do. For the most part, the main strategy is just getting close and beating Bruno into the wall, since if GioGio can link the chop attack into itself, it can stun lock most enemies, allowing me to deal a large chunk of his health. He'll eventually break free, but we can just evade his attacks before linking it again. Something I want to point out here are secret factors. By doing things that happen in the manga, the player obtains secret factor points, rewarding them with increased max HP, a small HP recovery, and, best of all, more stand meter to use your stand longer. Oh wait. Now, for most of these, they're impossible because they require a stand in one way or another, like this stage. Later stages might have more I can use, but for now, we just bash his head in and move along to the next stage. 1-2 Bucciarati runs away. Now we're starting to see how hard mode is affecting us, because we need to deal a set amount of damage in 5 minutes, and his HP bar does not move as much as I'd like. He'll zip around the stage to waste our time, but the combo can keep him in place if we're careful with it, and don't miss. Like that. You can actually knock him out of his retreat animation, if you catch him early enough, which allows for more chopping action. Once he hides in someone, I attack the wrong guy, then the right guy, for the maximum amount of HP I can get, because while I don't plan on getting attacked, it's not like I'll regret more HP. I learned a strategy to loop his AI if he's knocked down, where by running away, he'll roll backwards, which I can just double back on myself to trap him in the combo. Fly Guy's speed does actually let him land a few blows on me, but I pay him back with interest on those. Eventually, I land a hit right on his jugular, and he crumples to the ground like an inflatable whose fan was just unplugged. 2-1 Shadows Aground. The leader of the gang wants to test me, so he sends his shadow monster after me, so not only do I have to kill it, I have to do it before the sun goes down, or else I'll have nowhere to hide. To be honest, this may be one of the easiest stages in the game, thanks to a little something I like to call predictability. Black Omen has a really predictable attack pattern. That is to say, if you are close but not nearby, he'll lunge forward and grapple, so just dodge and launch him into the sun for massive damage. Doing this actually allows me to obtain max GioGio points, so I have lots of HP to not use. While I could fight him in the shade, it's way faster to just roll out of range of his birds and let the sun cook him, which I do. Overall, a good time, and Black Omen is down for the count. Now, GioGio's a wanted criminal. 3-1 British, isn't it? I'm told by the boss of the Mafia that we need to bring his favorite Pokemon, his daughter, from the daycare in Capri to this tower in San Giorgio Maggiore Island. But before we can do that, we learn that Team Rocket is after our Pokemon. This is just an average day in downtown London, I reckon. Formaggio can be tricky if you let him attack. Just don't stand in front of him, and Narancia can knife him like nobody's business. Like, seriously. This is worse frame data than IRL me, and he's an Italian mobster. He spends most of the fight running away, so dispatching him is pretty easy. Just don't be near him if he shrinks, and Narancia can shank him to death. Like, he doesn't even try to punish my whiffs. No one can stop Narancia's endless thrusts of death. I even leave myself open to attack, but he just won't. So I blow up a car with a knife, a clear sign of bad build quality, and kill him that way. 4-1. The Hidden World. The boss tells us that since we're heading out already, he asks us to do a few more things, such as retrieve his homework folder and the keys to his car that he left somewhere. On a quest to find the car keys, we are attacked by another member of Team Rocket, but this time he turns the world grayscale and inverts our left-right controls. While a lesser man might quiver at this, I do not, and exploit his only strength, his lack of weakness. For this fight only, Illuso cannot be stunned at all, so I just spend most of the fight punching him in the face because I find it funny, because he quite literally cannot stop me. Just for the funnies, I run off to get some secret factor points just so I can have a high score once this is all over, because I like points. 4-2. Box in Match. After getting clowned on, Illuso is naturally kind of angry. So now we're playing as Abacchio, as he too is trapped in Grey World. Abacchio is incredibly slow, and his attacks don't link into each other that well, but he makes up for that by hitting like a truck. Comparatively, at least. Occasionally during the fight, Illuso will run away to normal aim, but if I stand where he was facing when he jumped in, his back will be facing me when he hops out, so I can get some cheesy damage on him. For the most part, if I just stick close and keep up damage, then I can just wait for him to be stupid and run away, letting me wail on him even more. His most annoying move is sending Reflection Persona to slit my throat, but I've got a few of those lying around, so even if he does, I can just replace it. I've done this fight enough times that I'm used to the jank of the stage, so beating it with another A rank isn't too hard. 4-3. Shattering Stars. Now it's time to actually fight Illuso, made harder by him actually being able to escape my chops. But I mean, his only advantage is still flipping my controls, and that he has a shard of glass to shank me. Functionally, him and Formaggio aren't that different. This fight does take longer since by this point, hard mode is starting to really crank up the enemy's HP bar, but that just means I get to hear for longer, and not much else. After adding a bunch of red to Grey World, I finally decide to put him out of his misery and splatter him on the ground, his corpse forever trapped in this world. But then I remember that he's the only one that can move in and out of Grey World, so I kind of just trapped Abacchio and Fugo in here. Oops. 5-1. Aged Assault. Now, Team Rocket is starting to take me seriously, and hard mode has kicked in full effect. Prosciutto Stan, thanks for dying, can age his opponents if it's active and you don't get ice from the machine, but a single shoulder check causes him to recall his stand. My main strategy is to beat him into the corner and prevent him from summoning his stand, but if he can do it, and I take aging damage, I run to get some ice. Part of the reason this match is so hard is because I'm not supposed to fight Prosciutto. I'm supposed to open a hole in the train and launch him out of it, ending the fight right then and there. So he's incredibly lethal, having lots of health, and even being able to attack fast enough to put the combo to use on me. Plus, Thanks for Dying's grab range is really wide, so after cropping this image to make some half-baked creepypasta, I retry the fight with a much more aggressive attitude, which works far better than anything I did last time. I even break his stand a few times. Try not to lock him into the combo near the ice machine, or else it might break and leave you defenseless from his aging attack. But even still, I'm able to wipe him out, and even managed to do it without ice for the final segment. Nice. 5-2. Pole Position. The conductor gets mad at our antics, so stops the train and asks us to kindly handle this outside, which we do. Though for some reason, Pesci brings Prosciutto's corpse with him, which is weird. To be perfectly honest, I hate fighting Pesci way more than I do Prosciutto. Prosciutto is a matter of not taking damage, but Pesci just has way more annoying moves, along with sounding way more annoying. His attack where he waves Summerlad around comes out stupidly quick, and completely kills whatever combo I had going. Ironically, his big flashy move, where he sends his hook to search for me, are his worst moves, since they leave him wide open for more slappies. At some point in the fight, Prosciutto reveals he was alive the whole time, and attempts to use thanks for dying on us, with no ice around. However, I approach him and throw a single chop above him, and in that moment, we have a spiritual moment, a bonding exercise between two powerhouses of the game, real meeting real. He realizes that he lost our fight, and so has no reason to butt into his brother's fight with me, and agrees to stay down and let this fight happen as is, for it is now in Pesci's hands to determine if he is worthy of continuing living. He's not, of course, so I guess Prosciutto just goes off and lives a nice quiet life somewhere else. Oh yeah, and we get back on the train and head to our next destination. 6-1 Cold Pursuit. We find the car that the boss asked us to pick up, and decide to take it for a ride to find the homework folder. It's kind of weird that we've had no interactions with the boss ever since the Illuso fight. But, oh well. On our way there, we're attacked by the police, who take a lesson from American police since, you know, we're Mafia men, and he does what all cops do when they want to talk to people in a car. Ram us off the road. This fight mostly sucks since while we do have a gun, we can only really fight him off by using the power shot, which is slow, and if I miss, I'm basically guaranteed to take a hit. It's more annoying than anything, and by the way, if you think I'm using a stand with this move, don't worry, it's not. If we did have a stand, then we could send out bang mags to hover around him, then launch a power shot so the two bang mags can play monkey in the middle. But since we don't have a stand, no such monkey business occurs. Eventually, we make it across the bridge, and we can progress as normally. 6-2 A chilling battle. Bad news, we crashed the car. Choosing to fight the cop on equal ground now, the fight is mostly just waiting for him to show his back to me so I can fill it with lead. Thankfully, strange pixies inform me that once he takes enough damage, if I shoot the lamps, they'll defend themselves with spikes that I can use to impale the cop onto. A lot of this fight is spent waiting, as he summons his plausible deniability barrier, reflecting all bullets I send at him back at me. So I can't really lay on the trigger, even if he's at a medium distance away. Eventually, I do prevail, landing one last pistol whip and sending him to his doom. Then I receive a text from GioGio's saying that was a stupid decision, since the only reason he was chasing us down is because we were speeding. Double oops. 7-1 Deadly Delivery. We made it to the boss's tower, but learn of a sinister plot, because his plan all along was to grind Trish up into rare candies for his actual favorite Pokemon, Vaporeon. Being the hero I, Bruno Bucciarati, am, I attempt to stop him. But, it doesn't quite work. Mostly because the boss is an evil hack up his sleeve, where if he's doing basically anything except exiting a roll, he'll use his stand Part Skipper to teleport away and launch a surprise attack. We thankfully don't have to win this fight, we just have to survive 1 minute. Which is extra hard when I can't regain health. My initial plan was to lock him in the combo so I can't die, but he's really good at cheating. I do eventually lock him into the combo, but that's on my 3rd try, but hey, at least I did it. 7-2 Stop the boss. Jinxed it, now we actually have to fight him. Not a whole lot, granted, but still. He now uses his warp hack way less frequently, but that doesn't make him easier, because that just means he's a tad less annoying more than anything. I don't even really have a strategy. I'm just brain dead running forward and hoping attacks hit. I somehow lock him into a combo which, on top of a dash attack, does cross the threshold, but that could have easily taken several attempts. Deciding that his actions are cruel and cringe, we take Trish and run away, now on the run from his personal goons. 8-1 Assault in the Sky. While on a plane to track down the boss's summer home to find his Vaporeon to hold for ransom, the first of the boss's assassins attacks. And it's the aggravating, infamous Large, whose entire gimmick is it attacks whatever is moving. Oh wait. Crap. Starting the fight off as Trish, who can't do anything, our first objective is to obtain the brooch over there to add it to my collection. Then I'll worry about the weird crab thing. Jewelry in hand, I begin fighting the brain rat with my full moveset. The way a coward would do this fight is activating the reclining chairs to make LARGE focus on them, then step on him. But do I look like a coward to you? You better say no, because there's only one way to fight this guy, and that's the beautiful battle of Matador Flying Kicks. Trish's X attack launches a flying kick that I don't even think is a reference to anything, but if you time it perfectly, it'll launch LARGE back for massive damage. So the plan is simple. Walk up to a chair and activate it, then the second I get past him, sprint and roll to reach the brooch with the help of LARGE. Then it's a Matador off. 2 titans with one united goal. Eliminate the other in a glorious duel. The best case scenario is that I land the attack perfectly, so he's launched and dealt a chunk of damage, and I escape free from punishment. Worse, but still okay, is a early attack, where I take some damage, but not that much, and sometimes we exchange blows, so we both take damage. But the worst outcome is if I launch the attack late, where Trish lands, gets grappled, and takes a bunch of damage instead. But it doesn't take long for me to perfect the technique and defeat the beast with one last powerful kick. But now, LARGE lives up to his name. 8-2 Push it to the limit. Infamous LARGE was what killed the original run all those years ago, because I just could not beat this guy. His swipe attack when I'm close is rough, and his punches can hit me while I'm in the air sometimes. And it can also hit me when I'm down, something not a lot of attacks can. No matter what pattern of attack I used, somehow, in some way, he'd kill me. But that was before I learned the awesome power of the kick. So now I present the perfect technique to beat LARGE. For the first minute of combat, rush in and deliver 3 kicks to his face, then back off to avoid his swipe, while trying to stay in the center of the plane to avoid his actual punches. Once it reaches 1 minute, lower it to 2 kicks per loop, and move in a wavy pattern to avoid most of his attacks. With the technique perfected, I cleared the fight and escaped the plane with my life. Victory held high. 10-1 Stairway to Hell. We're not out of terrible stage hell yet. After crashing the plane, we receive a DM on Discord that says that someone, in the Coliseum, knows the location of Diavolo's Vaporeon, so now we just have to reach it. But to do that, I need to climb these stairs while under the attack of Sekko, the Ground Man, who loves to make my day worse. I don't really need to worry about HP, since I need to reach shortcuts to make the stage shorter, but since they also regain my HP, that's not a big concern. What is a big concern is that I'm slowly being drowned by Spring, which is sinking me into the ground, and Oolong melting my skin by forcing COVID to eat us alive if I go downwards. Sekko can either create holes in the ground to trap us in place for his next attack, or his Dolphin Dash, which more often than not launches me down multiple layers of this stupid stage. Once Sekko gives me a single chance, I take it, and I can escape to the top, where I proceed to stage 2. 10-2 Utter Consumption. Chocolata and Oolong are the worst combo we've seen so far, because I have to deal with so much and have not a lot of space to deal with it. Chocolate can split himself into multiple parts, and all of his parts, if they get close, can combo you into one another with grapples, flying kicks, and throws. Meanwhile, Oolong walks around spreading its mold, which if it gets on GioGio, then he loses health, and every so often he's stunned, which will interrupt any combo I try to use and allow Chocolate to retaliate. Plus, because Oolong hates us, he'll sometimes just appear in front of us. But this can be an advantage, because it's not Oolong that gives us COVID, it's the green toxic piles he creates. So if I punch him in the face before he can fart out another toxic cloud, then not only does he vanish and leave me the heck alone for a while, but it clears all currently spawned toxic puffs. When it comes to actually fighting Chocolate, my only real strategy was beat him up while he was actually a person, and just run away while he was split up. The main issue I had with this fight is that I was pretty good at evading attacks, and wasn't taking much damage either, so these attempts were just taking forever. Eventually, I was able to skirt by with a victory, slicing open his newly reformed throat with my hand alone. But I only had 2 health left, so yeah, close. 10-3. Mr. Hyde hurts my pride. I want to interview the development team and ask each and every single one of them personally why they made Sekko so unfair and powerful. For starters, he just has a lot of health, so I need to be at the top of my game for so much longer than you'd expect. Then we have the fact that since Sekko is partially in the ground, his hitbox is smaller than anyone else, so some attacks just miss. If I can punch Illuso to stop him from hopping through mirrors, then why can't I punch Sekko to stop him from hiding underground? This also means that Sekko is just super hard to combo, because not all attacks hit him, and if we give him the chance, he'll dive under and retaliate. Now onto his actual moves, which all hurt. His basic attack combo can trap Bruno into any of his other moves, such as the dive from Mista's stage, a barrage attack which is super insulting because it hurts, and he punches me in the crotch, and he can still create holes to trap me. Plus, once he loses about 70% of his health, he starts eating the ground and then spitting it out to rain bullets on me. I can't even rely on secret factors to heal or have more health because all of them require using a stand, including the one that's just hitting him once he emerges confused, because it only registers if you use Fly Guy. He attacks fast, he attacks hard, he combos into himself, and he is just entirely unfair. And I hate calling something unfair because I feel like a whining baby, but I have one final, major reason as to calling him unfair. Priority. For those unaware of the term, in every game that has combat moves, every move has a priority number, and things like repeated usage, timing, and other factors can affect this number. Whenever 2 attacks collide at the same time, the game compares their priority to see what happens. The one with lower loses, and the higher one goes through. And as far as I'm aware, every single move of Sekko's has more priority than Bruno's Chop and Strike. And because I wanted to play the rest of the game, I had to drop it down all the way to easy mode. It's embarrassing, but that's what I had to do to progress further. 11-1. Power above all. We arrive at the Coliseum to find the man who knows where Vaporeon is. Unfortunately, when we arrived, the man who was going to tell us was being attacked by none other than the boss, Abakio! After he and Fugo were abandoned in the Mirror World, he killed him to grow stronger and then returned to this world to enact revenge and continue his Mafia empire. That's why he was covered in black when he first appeared, because his colors had yet to return to him. Now we failed the challenge overall, all because of Polnareff. Polnareff is a crippled, broken man who's bound to a wheelchair. Every single attack is a stand attack, and he's so reliant on his stand that if he's knocked down with a drained stand meter, he can't get up. So yeah, the run is dead here, but because we're so close to the end, I'm just gonna 11-2. Fly Guy's Revenge. Zipperman has finally had enough. He's tired of me not using him, tired of me calling him the wrong name, and as such, is taking revenge on us for not using him the entire run. He's protecting Carousel Requiem, who we need to stop because he stole GioGio's arm, and we need that to stop Abakio. Unfortunately, this match is a painful one. Carousel Requiem is walking towards his Uber outside, so we need to defeat him before he arrives there. But he doesn't take a lot of damage, and because Zipperman isn't technically his stand, attacking and launching it doesn't dispel Zipperman. On top of that, Zipperman has incredible range with his Zoom Punch and Zipper Place, can trap me, barrage me, land combos, can land an attack before I can even if we attack at the same time, and even attack me when I'm knocked down. And not only does he have range and combos, but he's fast. If he uses Zoom Punch, not even kidding, he can land another Zoom Punch before we can move, dodge, or evade. So if I'm stuck in this corner, he can just decide I lose, never let me escape, and kill me. My only hope is that if Carousel gets too far away from Zipperman, then he needs to resummon him back. But otherwise, I'm screwed. Zipperman is a bit too bouncy, so even if I trap him in the infinite combo with Carousel, he'll bounce out of it and resume his regularly scheduled wailing on my poor self. Plus the camera is so bad that most of the time I can't even see him in order to avoid his attacks. I died so many times on this stage, because unlike Sekko, this match wasn't hard because his hitbox was fake, or that he had higher priority than me, or because I had no chances to heal. It was just hard. No excuses to be made. I know some of you might say that I can just use the bash over and over and move like this, but that does such little damage. That would require 80 plus hits to take it down. And remember, that entire time, I need to avoid getting hit as much as possible, because those numbers add up over time. As I replayed the level time and time again, I started to learn more and more tricks. For instance, if Zipperman is in the middle of an attack, he can't block, and if he's hit with a head bash, I force him to disappear and require Carousel to resummon him, which most of the time he does immediately, but if I hit both of them, then Carousel does not have a chance to kill me. If he's not summoned or off in the distance and I combo fast enough, I can trap him in a loop that prevents him from resummoning him and deal major damage. But if that combo ever lets up, then Zipperman is coming for me, and I can't stop him. More things I learned is that when Carousel is down on the ground, if I attack fast enough, I can land another attack on him for even more damage. The best strategy I can come up with is to trap him in the starting zone, so I can keep an eye on Zipperman, and have plenty of areas to keep Carousel trapped in the combo. So then, I just had to try it. Over, and 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 over again. Zipperman just attacks too fast. But I was determined. I needed to win. And so I did not care how many times my skull smashed against the brick wall. I was winning, no matter what. Zipperman might trap my ankles with a zipper, but I trapped him and his master in a combo loop. Most of my attempts that went anywhere were only due to mixing up bashes and combos, which even still didn't lead to much more than half HP. But eventually, I died again. But then, just then, the combo worked for just long enough, just barely. I was able to hold out and beat him. 25 deaths, and we can finally move on to Abakio and finish this. 11-3. The Requiem plays softly. In a horrible twist of fate, Abakio kills Bruno for leaving him in that world, and now turns his attention towards GioGio, part skipper ready to obliterate him, and he's well prepared to do so. For starters, Abakio's primary attack is launching part skipper forward at an intense speed, launching me back and dealing a bunch of damage. Then if I'm close, he can use a combo that hits me even when I'm knocked down, throw his blood to blind me, impale me on his stand's fist and throw me over his shoulder, and the worst move imaginable, the slam. He slams his fist into the ground so hard that he causes a massive explosion that if I'm in it at all, I take major damage and am launched so far back. Then, of course, we have his time slow that allows him to land as many attacks as he wants. And to make matters worse, he loves getting back up almost immediately. My only saving grace is that if I survive his time slow without taking damage, I gain 30% max HP and recover some of mine. The best case scenario is that he doesn't use his attack for quite a while into the fight, so I can save that HP recovery for a later date. At the start of the fight, understand that I have to roll immediately, or else Part Skipper's dash will hit me. Anytime I can't see him, or any distance away, I am rolling to hopefully avoid the attack. The combos don't work super consistently on him, unless he's in a corner, but there's a new combo I can use instead. Land a 3-hit combo on him, then launch him back with a dash attack, and he'll be stuck in a loop, and it will only be human error that lets him escape. Of course, whenever he does escape, I make a point to stay as close as possible, because rush through can come out faster than I can recover from a normal combo from him, so I'm guaranteed to take quite a bit of damage. The best thing that can happen is I trap him in the corner, so he can't use any of his attacks, but even a little bit of distance can be killer. If I act fast enough, I can actually stop him from using his powerful moves, so that's nice, but if he draws out his stand, that's even better. Because if Part Skipper is defeated and he needs to heal him up, then he can't use anything but roll and his most basic attack. He can't even throw his own blood. An area I hung around a lot is the stairs over here, because there's 2 chances for him to be launched into a corner, which is good on its own, but by utilizing the same technique Sekko used, and being below a Bakio, some of his attacks don't hit at all, like his basic combo or the blood throw. Though Part Skipper will still nail my butt to the mantle if he so much as appears once. So now all that's left to do is try and try again, no matter how many times I die. The memory of Fugo prevents me from simply giving up or throwing the towel in. He too was trapped in the other world, and no doubt he learned of Abakio's secret and tried to stop him, before being taken out to protect his secret. For Fugo, Bruno, and the other guys who had already betrayed Abakio but for the sake of appearances had to die as well, I will kill him and avenge them. But right as I'm about to finish him off, he unveils his final, most devious ploy. Whenever he hits 0 HP, he doesn't die, and instead slows time, launches a shockwave, and refills to quite a bit. So even if I trap him in a combo, if I've taken too much damage, I simply can't win. The explosion would instantly take me out. But then, Bruno's ghost reminded me of our very first fight, trapping him in the corner. If it worked on him, then it might work on his boss. So I trapped him in the corner, and whenever he got iframes, I'd turn away to face him so he'd roll back into the corner, letting me wail on him some more. Once he activates his second bit of health, he warps away and tries to escape. But I've got his number. He can't escape these hands of justice. No amount of rush punches can stop me as I lead him to the stairs, throw him down there before trapping him in a corner, beating him senseless. He tries to slow time, but I force him to block to stop the cast. So one last strike to his jugular, and it explodes with enough force to throw him back, ending his reign on the Mafia, and allowing a new, more brighter future for Italy to proceed onwards. God, this was hard! Like, when it started out, it was fine. It just required more patience, and the early stages had some secret factors I could use to get my health back. That was fine and dandy. But God, did it get so much worse as it progressed? Technically, both challenges failed, since I had to lower it to easy for just Sekko, and Polnareff ruined the whole no stand thing. But every other stage is still beatable. I'm honestly really surprised that the infamous LARGE fight is, actually doable, considering how impossible it seemed last time. I wouldn't recommend this run personally, because it's just tedious instead of anything. Except for the final fight. That is a genuine thrill ride, as each blow taken and received matters so much more than they normally would. Thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, consider following or liking or sharing, and I'll see you nerds next time.